Live, Laugh, Larceny discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all you psychopaths out there.
All stories are based on actual events, but details may vary.
Listener discretion is not advised.
Live,
Laugh,
Larceny. Welcome to Live, Laugh, Larceny, the decision to eat the sauciest of foods in the newest of pants. This is Trevin.
And I'm Amanda. I love a good sauce.
I love a good sauce. I recently bought some other athletic jeans.
Ooh, athletic fit.
And they're that very light jean, kind of like what you're wearing. Got them right out of the washer, was ready to wear them, went to a kid's birthday party, cupcake icing.
Oh, yeah. Story of my damn life.
Man, I got a problem, you know?
So, Trevin.
Yes.
What is your dreadful dilemma?
So I had a dreadful dilemma planned, and then I had the strangest thing happen to me. So Emily's birthday just happened a little bit ago.
Okay.
And we work out together, and she said she wanted to get one of those Bosu balls. Are you familiar with those?
Oh, they're kind of like flat on the bottom, a ball, and you balance on it? Uh-huh.
And it's supposed to help with your tendons and stuff, because you feel like you're always balancing. Those little fine muscles are working to keep yourself balanced.
Ooh, love that.
She's always had like a hip problem where she says, my hip hurts, which is just something that I feel like I want to share this because a lot of people maybe never thought about it this way, because I didn't either. It wasn't that she needed something medically done with her hip. It was that she just always kind of learned how to walk incorrectly. And so she actually went to a physical therapist who kind of reworked and remade her mind think of the way she walks. And that actually helped with it. And the Bosu ball helped her like resituate how she holds her body together.
Ooh, I need to get one of these.
Yeah, because I have like hip problems too. And it makes me wonder, is it because of that?
Yeah.
So she has the Bosu ball, and she used to do dance or point or something. And when she does it, they were telling her to help herself stand on a Bosu ball for 10 minutes and just balance. So she said, ooh, let's like have some gummies. And let's just take turns timing ourselves on the Bosu ball. And it'll just be a self-care thing that we can both do. And I'm like, sure. And I had already timed her once before doing it. She does it. She just seems a little inconvenienced. No problem. I get up on that Bosu ball.
Oh, God.
And I'm like a minute and a half in. And I start the hot sweats. And I'm like, oh, God, this isn't going to work. And then this pain in my feet. It was like a burning in my feet. It felt like somebody was trying to reshape my foot, and I'm sitting here like, this is torture. And I said, how much time do I have left? And she said 7 minutes.
What?
I thought, how is this even possible? Because she made it look no different than I would stand at a concert. I'm sitting here like I'm getting waterboarded in my living room. I kid you not when I say this, my spirit was broken by the end of that 10 minutes. And it was a pride thing the whole way, because I'm sitting here thinking, how can she stand there in such a normal, nonchalant way when I am in the pain of my life? So I get off the Bosu ball and I drop to my knees. Like, no joke, the fetal position for a little bit because it hurts so bad. And I'm just like Googling it. I said, like, there's got to be something wrong. Like, why is this so bad?
Why am I so weak?
I looked at it and they said that people with flat feet, they will feel the burn in their feet instantly when using a Bosu ball because it's forcing an arch into their foot to kind of go around the ball.
Never mind. I have the flattest feet ever.
Girl.
Do not sign me up. If this is why you felt the burning ring of hell come from underneath you, I don't need it. I don't want it. No, I have very fucking flat feet.
I'll let you stand on it for like 2 minutes if you want.
Oh my God. I'm like when Barbie, when her feet drop and it's like, boom. Mm-hmm. That's my feet.
Ugh, well, like, apparently I have flat feet because that was incredible pain.
Oh my God. Ooh! Well, that's dreadful. So I also have a dreadful dilemma. As you know, Trevin, last night I went to a work gathering for my husband's job.
Dressed to the nines.
Dressed to the nine. I told you it was my goal. I wanted to be the hottest wife there. That was my goal. And I'm not usually one that really cares that much about my appearance all the time. But there are times when I really freaking do. And this was one of them. You
know how to peacock when you want to.
Yes. I wanted to give it my all and just be like, I'm out and I'm here and here I am, world. So anyway, it was really interesting meeting all of his coworkers and just seeing a lot of people that I've heard their names, and now I get to see their face, all of that kind of thing. But we're standing in line and in the buffet line, and we're getting our food, and Jordan, my husband, introduces me to a man that I did remember his name because his nickname is Rose. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So his real name is Jose, but he says bro all the time. So hence the nickname Brose. So I'm finally meeting Brose in the flesh, and he's like an old man. I wasn't expecting Brose to be like in his 60s.
I would have thought 20s, yeah.
Yeah. Just to clarify that a little bit. No, he's an older man. Seems like he's got a lot of pep in his step. But the dreadful part was that the first thing that this man says to me, okay, he's like, oh, is this your wife? Turns to look at me and he's like, wow, you're way prettier in person. Okay.
Is that knocking your photo abilities?
First of all, that is a compliment that I'm pretty to you here in person.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just such a funny way of wording it. And I am such a blunt little jokester when I meet people sometimes. I just laughed, because it was kind of funny. And I was like, oh, so what am I? Just average in photographs? And he looked at me just dumbfounded. I don't know if he didn't expect me to have a comeback or if he himself was shocked at what he had just said, introducing himself. I don't know. But I just gave him like a pat on the shoulder and I was like, okay, let's get some food, Brose. And we continued on. But how am I supposed to take a statement like that?
I'm automatically offended personally, but I take most things, especially if it's appearance wise, I'm probably like, oh, that's probably not good. So that's how I would take it. I don't think he should be off the hook.
Okay. Because, I was like, it was a compliment, but it was kind of an underhanded compliment. And what's funny is my husband, Jordan, has always compared this guy, Brose, to his dad. And the first thing his dad ever said to me was, you're way prettier than the last one. And it's like, well, that makes sense that they're similar because goddamn, these first impression comments are just killing me.
Well, at least they were still compliments.
They're like these weird, pretty compliment, backhanded things. I don't know. It's weird.
I wish somebody would say that to me.
That you're prettier than the last one?
Or prettier in person. I don't discriminate.
So we are going to be doing a round of 2 truths and a lie.
I've got 3 wires. Which one do I cut?
I'll give you 2 truths and a lie.
But wait, we don't have time for this.
We are. And since I recently had my dilemma about Poor Claw, the Barbenheimer sequel that could have been, in honor of Poor Things getting nominated for a bunch of different things, which I think by the time this comes out, the Academy Awards will have happened or are just about to. I want to do 2 truths and a lie about the Academy Awards.
Ooh, okay.
So here we go. Statement number 1. The Academy Awards are called the Oscars because an Academy member said the statue looked like her Uncle Oscar. Statement number 2. Daffy Duck has more Academy Awards than any other Looney Tunes character. Or statement number 3. The original Tron movie from 1982 was disqualified from the special effects nomination because using computers was considered cheating.
Whoa. Those are all really tough.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I feel like it was Donald Duck, right? That's who you said?
Daffy Duck.
Oh.
Looney Tunes like Bugs Bunny and not Mickey Mouse and Donald.
Okay, I was thinking Donald Duck. I'm going to go with B is the lie.
And you got me. B is the lie.
Oh my God, I have finally won.
But it actually is Sylvester the Cat who has the most Academy Awards from all the Looney Tunes characters.
Whoa, Sylvester. Okay.
Not Bugs Bunny or Daffy, one of the main ones.
Interesting.
The truths The Academy Awards are called the Oscars because Margaret Herrick, one of the Academy members, just happened to say, oh, hey, the statue looks like my Uncle Oscar. And that was enough for everybody to just say, the Oscars it is.
That is actually really cute.
Well, but just doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's like an inside joke for her. Nobody else knows her Uncle Oscar.
Sometimes it just happens that way.
Yeah, I guess so. And then the original Tron movie from 1982 was disqualified from the special effects nomination because using computers was considered cheating, which, how funny is that nowadays when just about anything, even Saw 3D, actually I didn't even like that one very much, but at the very end of that movie, one of the characters throws a saw and it's literally a CG saw being thrown.
Okay, I don't know. They need some justice. I don't know how they're going to get it, but we need to revisit this, okay?
Yeah.
And maybe they deserve a little award just to be like, look, you were unfairly disqualified, because come on.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame sort of thing where they look back on things that were missed, but they should totally do that for certain things.
I declare.
I do declare. So that is my little talk about the Oscars and fun facts, and I love the movies. I love the Oscars. I know they're usually always around the same exact time as the Super Bowl, but...
Do you watch the award shows still?
Not usually, but I always try to go down the list and watch every single, at least Best Picture nomination.
Nice. And do you keep up with like who wins it and stuff at least?
Yeah, I mean, if you quiz me on it, I'd forget them pretty quickly after the year passes, but I love watching them and trying to see which one I think should win the Best Picture and stuff like that.
Damn, I've never done that. I've never had a year where I watched all the nominees.
Yeah, I think it's really fun. And it's kind of political too, because sometimes a movie is out there because it's just trying to say like one kind of message. And it's really weird when you see people try to not give that story its due just because it's something that they disagree with. And it's like, but it tells the story so perfectly. It's all about the art, you know? It's crazy to see how the politics gets in the way of what gets picked sometimes.
I hate that shit.
But I love artsy films.
I'm with ya. So my two truths and a lie is about something that we've had to deal with a lot recently here in Kansas City, Missouri.
Ice?
Snow.
Ooh.
And I got a lot of this information from mentalfloss.com, one of our fave
Great
sites.
site.
So, statement number 1. The state of Alaska holds the record for the most snow to fall on a single calendar day. Statement number 2, igloos can be more than 100 degrees warmer inside than outside. Or statement number 3, the city of Syracuse, New York, tried to make snow illegal.
These are all very fun facts, or are all very fun statements. I'm going to say that I think statement number 1 is false.
Oh my God, we are both winners. We are both winners. This is not Blue Clue, so yeah. Statement number 1 is the lie, Trevin. Instead of Alaska having the biggest 24-hour snowstorm, it was Colorado. December 4th, 1913, 63 inches of snow fell on Georgetown, Colorado.
Whoa.
Can you imagine?
No, I could not.
We get nowhere near that and we're like, help us! Number 2, igloos are warmed entirely by body heat. Since fresh compacted snow is approximately 90 to 95% trapped air, meaning it can't move and transfer heat, it's a great insulator. Many animals, such as bears, dig deep holes in the snow to hibernate through the winter.
That is nuts, but also really cool.
I know. I'm like, God dang, I want to go in a real, smoothed out, rounded out igloo one day.
Mm-hmm.
That would be so bizarre.
I had done that at least once as a kid where we had a big snow in the driveway and we dug a little hole inside of it.
Really? I've never done that. Huh. Was it warm in there?
Looking back, I think it was a little bit. I guess it's because you're also not getting the wind on you.
Yeah,
know?
That's what it is. Yeah, it's an insulator from the wind and the cold. And statement number 3, the city of Syracuse, New York, did try to make snow illegal. Apparently, this happened in 1992. The city's common council passed a decree that any more snow before Christmas Eve was illegal. But as it turns out, Mother Nature found a way to make its own choices, and it snowed just 2 days later.
Did they arrest all the snow?
I don't know, but how ridiculous is that?
That almost sounds like somebody just made something up to get elected. Like, listen, if you guys vote me in, I'm going to ban snow because we got to start getting to work on time.
Yeah. In what world? I don't know. I mean, it was a really long time ago, but still, come on, people. No one can make that happen.
He should have gotten impeached directly after it snowed. Like, you're out of here. Or whatever the word is. Maybe just fired. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if whoever his competitor was in the election before just does like a smear campaign and it's like, this dude said that he was going to ban the snow. False.
That's exactly what it would be. And it'd be like pictures of snowfall.
And then he says like fake news. There was no snow that day.
Oh my God. So, you know what's better than snowfall?
Metaphors about the American political system about snow?
No, silly ads.
Okay. And we are back. It's my week to go first.
Woohoo!
And it's a story from the news. I felt very inspired by the premise of this story.
Ooh.
This is also very recent as well. It's a 2024 crime.
What?
Yeah, girl.
Is this our first 2024 crime?
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't covered any from this year yet.
Yeah, because the driveway one went viral in 24, but it didn't happen in 24.
Wow.
So let's bring it in with this very petty crime. And here we go. The world we live in is vile and crawling with individuals fueled with ill intent. Everywhere you look, crimes are being committed. Not always in the open, and perhaps not ones you care about. But these dastardly deeds persist. No matter where you go, a grocery store, a school, one of those upper-class neighborhoods protected by a decorative iron gate.
Eek, a stranger!
Each one of these settings harbors a criminal. Unless you're new here, you should already know this. If our show has taught you anything other than the McSpoon's troubling past with drugs, it's that petty criminals are all around us. They are the people we pass on the streets, the people we love, and sometimes even ourselves. Each action carefully keeping the mask firmly in place. It's like the 90s Batman cartoons or the 2 Tim Burton movies that they are modeled off of. Everything is dark, and any unfamiliar face on the street is a villain just waiting to manifest.
Put the money in the bag.
You're isolated yet surrounded by people, knowing that there are probably more criminals than good people on the streets. And the worst thing about it all is that none of our world is in that cool Art Deco style that the cartoon is in. But just like the world gone cold of Gotham, we too must turn to someone with the abilities to maintain order and justice. We need a hero. On our show, we don't delve too much into the making of a hero. We covered some, like the Red Light Robin Hood, or the boy who held a rave in his school's bathroom to boost morale. Heroes do exist, but our show tends to focus more on the negatives of life. Still, every hero deserves their due, and every city needs a hero. Without good people stepping in and running towards a problem rather than away, our world would be even worse to deal with. And all of my fellow introverts out there don't need any more reasons to stay out of public. The heroes make it a little bit easier for us to leave the house, and I think they deserve recognition for that. Today's tale unfolds in the seedy underbelly of the crime world we know and love, but it centers around a very unlikely hero, one you probably won't expect.
Alberto, we've had some great times together. You're a middle-aged Florida man, and I love that about you. Your horseshoe haircut gets me so hot, I can't even see straight. But I think we should see other people. And by other people, I mean I should start seeing your neighbor Gary instead.
What? I thought we had something special. What does Gary have that I don't?
You and Gary are very similar. You're both perfect specimens and a couple of stallions in the bedroom.
Wait, you've already made love?
Hold on, I'm not finished. The point is, if I lived 2 lives, I'd easily give you one and spend the other with Gary. But there's just something about Gary that makes me want to choose him for my one and only life. You're close, but you're no Gary.
Meet Alberto. He's having a terrible start to his 2024. With his New Year's resolution of finding himself, what he's discovered in less than 2 weeks was enough to stop his journey entirely.
I'm close, but I'm no Gary.
Since flipping his calendar back to January, the world relentlessly reminded Alberto that he's close, but not quite good enough. Every time he would watch The Price is Right, his guesses were always $1 over. He just got second place in his winner-take-all fantasy football league. And now, his girlfriend was leaving him for Gary, a basic guy who's just a slightly better version than him. Alberto's life had become one of those shots in basketball, where the ball circles the hoop for a long time, only to somehow jump its way out and back onto the floor. These occurrences were enough for Alberto to consider giving up, selling his apartment, and joining the circus.
There's probably some other clown who's better at scooping elephant shit than I am,
he thought to himself before clicking the X on the careers page for Barnum & Bailey. Alberto's apartment had become his own personal pit of despair. Everything within his 900 square foot bachelor pad had reflected the bleakness of the new year. Each room grew darker, as if the light bulb stopped putting in effort for him. Even his dog Beauregard refused to share the same furniture, opting to lay on the floor instead, with his ass in Alberto's general direction. There was still hope for the new year, but in his current state, Alberto couldn't see it. At this point, living the life of a recluse seemed ideal. There was no telling what disappointment lay just outside his front door. Here, on the couch, he could at least mitigate the pain and suffering of 2024. Alberto sat in his quiet apartment, looking at his disrespectful dog, and feeling his mood shift from sad to angry.
There's only one thing that can lift my mood,
Alberto said to himself, opening his Netflix app. Whenever he's feeling blue, the absurd humor of Anchorman always seemed to bring joy back to Alberto's life. It was a laugh a minute, no matter what he was going through. Slowly typing the A, N, C, and H into his search bar, he used the app's autocomplete feature to search the full Anchorman title. As soon as he clicked on the movie's name, he was greeted with an all-too-familiar message. Netflix no longer has this title. Here's a list of options based on your request? Alberto read aloud, looking down at the first suggestion and seeing that it was Cats.
Impossible!
He shouted.
I just watched Anchorman last week, and Cats is nothing like this movie.
After a quick Google, Albert saw the ugly truth. Anchorman had just been removed from Netflix and was now on Paramount Plus.
Not another streamer!
He screamed to the walls of his sad apartment. In a perpetual state of slump, Alberto decided to sit still and play possum with the rest of his life. But just as he began to be one with the couch, Alberto's phone rang. With an unknown number displayed, Alberto cautiously picked up his phone and answered.
Hello?
Hello, Alberto. I'm calling on behalf of the Business Corporation, the company you had interviewed with last week.
Yes, hello.
I regret to inform you that we are choosing to go a different direction with our hiring. You had almost everything we were looking for in a quality candidate, but at the end of the day, we are deciding to go a different direction. We will keep your name on file if something comes up, and good luck with your job search.
As the call disconnected from the businesswoman's side, Alberto begged for mercy from the universe.
I need a hero!
A short time later, Alberto found himself out in public and standing face to face with a Subway sandwich artist. Just as Anchorman was a mood booster for him, he had one ultimate break glass technique to turn a bad day around. He hadn't used it since his pet died back in 2015, but the way this year was starting called for another trip to Subway.
How may I help you, sir?
The Subway worker asked with a chipper tone.
I need a hero,
Albert said.
Cold cut ham, olives, and provolone on whole wheat, please.
The worker got straight to making the joyous sandwich, as Alberto salivated. He loved referring to sub sandwiches as heroes, not just because of the vintage ring it had to it, but because a cold ham and cheese always had the ability to save him from his terrible life. With each cheese triangle and floppy piece of moist meat the artist sat on the whole wheat bread, Alberto felt anticipation for his hero's arrival. He remembered the Pep sandwich of 2015 and how he would grab one perfectly cut half, devouring it one at a time. His expectations were high, but he knew Subway wouldn't let him down. The artist's left hand caressed the hoagie, while the right flattened the pile of meat with the bread knife. In one perfectly choreographed movement, their left hand closed the sandwich with the same tenderness one would put into closing their favorite book. It was poetry in motion. All Alberto needed was the grand finale, the cutting of the bread, and he would be on to fixing his future. But just as the artist slid their knife out from the center of the loaf, all beauty in the technique was lost. The hands that once weaved and splayed with an elegance Alberto had never known had turned ham-fisted and careless. Alberto watched as the sandwich artist half-heartedly estimated the center of the sub, made contact with the blade, and pressed down ever so slightly, barely separating just the top part of the loaf. It was close, but not fully cut in half. Before he could cry out at the injustice, the subway worker had already begun the wrapping process, sealing his uncut hero in a cocoon of crinkly paper. At that moment, Alberto's brief stint with 2024 flashed before his eyes. He thought about his recent ex, his failed attempt at getting a new job, the fact that his neighbor is a better catch than him, and Anchorman leaving Netflix. Each situation, he was within reach of getting what he wanted, but ultimately coming up short. Now it seemed his sandwich was destined to suffer the same fate.
You call that a cut sandwich?
Alberto yelled to the subway worker. The sandwich artist put on their best customer service voice, trying to de-escalate the situation.
Please, calm down, sir.
But it was too late. Alberto had lost his shit.
This year has been one for the books already. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have Paramount Plus. People don't want to hire me, and my neighbor is hogging up all the sexy in my building. Now I pay a professional of the sandwich arts to bring a hero into this world that will save me, and you defile the only hope I have left?
Realizing that the situation was a lost cause, the subway worker refused to serve Alberto, telling him he needed to leave.
Please come back another time.
Ugh.
Alberto scoffed, pulling out his phone and making a call.
We will see what my congressman has to say about this.
Standing impatiently at the side of the counter, Alberto shot daggers from his eyes towards the artist. With each ring from his phone, he felt his heart pumping faster. The anger was relentless and all-consuming. The more he waited for some kind of help, the more he realized this was a lost cause. The year 2024 would be a year alone for Alberto. It was time that he stopped looking for others to help him and started taking matters into his own hands. While holding the phone to his face with his left hand, Alberto grabbed the insulting sandwich and threw it at the worker. With a dull smush, the rolled loaf made contact, bouncing off and landing on the floor. Leaning into the counter, the sandwich artist grabbed the point of impact.
You hit me in my mid to lower body section!
The worker shouted in pain. Having transformed his favorite eating establishment into a scene for a crime, Alberto turned and left. The recently maimed employee fought through the sandwich-induced pain, grabbing her phone and chased after him, recording his demeanor and capturing his license plate before he drove away. On January 9th of 2024, police were called to a disturbance at a Subway restaurant in Stuart, Florida. There, officers took statements of an irate customer, causing a scene before throwing a sandwich at the worker who made it. According to the probable cause affidavit obtained by the Smoking Gun, the man became upset with the employee after finding out that his sandwich was not separated. The scene ended with the man throwing the sandwich and hitting the worker in the, quote, mid to lower body section. The sandwich victim was able to capture footage of the angry man walking to his car along with a clear shot of the license plate. Police later arrested 54-year-old Alberto de Barros and charged him with a misdemeanor of battery for the sub-sandwich strike. He is due for arraignment on February 1st. According to HusseinandWeber.com, a misdemeanor and simple battery in Florida holds a penalty of up to 1 year in jail or 12 months probation and a $1,000 fine. See what I mean? An unlikely hero? Yeah, I tricked you. There were no acts of vigilantism to speak of at all here. Just a bad sandwich that triggered an even worse outburst. But hey, sometimes we put a lot of stock into the foods that we look forward to. In the case of Albert de Barros, we don't know what led to this kind of reaction, or why a fully separated hoagie is just so important to him. I can only assume that the 54-year-old man was tired of situations ending in a close enough fashion. Luckily for you all, I am just a humble petty crime writer. I may be way off, spot on, or barely there with the motives I gave this man. Either way, I'm just happy to be here. But if any of you want to come at me and say this story was close, but not good enough, I've got a Subway sandwich with your name on it.
Okay, beautifully done.
Thank you.
The moment I realized that we were talking about a sandwich and not a Zero to Hero Hercules situation here, it cracked me up. So Very good job with that one. You got me.
Thank you. Yeah, I had the idea from that. I thought he must have been really upset for that Subway sandwich to be almost cut in half, but not quite cut in half. So I thought this guy must have just been reminded over and over again that things almost worked out. And then I thought a person who's going through that must really need a hero.
And you know, the way that you've described it, he would have seen the bread before the toppings got added, right?
They put the toppings and everything on it, then they close it, and then they whomp and cut it at the end.
Oh, okay. In my mind, I thought you were talking about when they initially cut it in half before they put the toppings on.
Mm-mm.
Okay, this makes it even more ridiculous.
Yeah, it wasn't cut in half well enough for him to just have two separate pieces of sandwich.
Come on, my dude. Okay. First of all, come on, my dude, no matter what.
Right.
He's in the wrong if it was cut this way or cut that way or whatever. But at least in the way I was thinking, if it was like cut too close to the top or not fully cut far enough, then how the toppings sit in there properly.
Mm-hmm.
The sandwich was made beautifully. It just wasn't cut in two beautiful pieces. That is absurd.
Yes, and then that's why in the story I made it sound like such a beautiful act, the way she was doing,
That's what I
making the
was
sandwich,
thinking.
but then, yeah, the very end, just sealing the deal with the stamp of cutting it in half.
Okay, I missed that. This
Yeah.
is so silly.
In the true way it actually happened, I'm going to guess that this guy watched her quickly not cut it very well, because you know how they're so fast at it that their stamp roll go. He probably just didn't want to stand up for himself and say like, wait, can you cut that? He let it go, and then it just festered for a minute, and then he got more mad by the time it was like wrapped up into him. I mean, obviously this is a weak man act here, so he probably wishes he would have stood up and said something earlier.
That is so weird. I bet you there are people that don't want it cut at all. That's kind of weird, but maybe.
Yeah, I've had plenty of them where they've kind of half-ass cut it, and then I just have to kind of tear it the rest of the way. Who cares?
Yes, and you move the fuck on with life.
So that's why I gave this guy a very anticlimactic but very dramatic backstory, because it just seems like you'd have to be feeling some type of way for a sandwich to make you want to lash out like that. And then it was also very dramatic when I read it in the website that he threw the sandwich and hit her in the, quote, mid to lower body section. I thought, man, that sounds kind of dramatic too. And really very specific in an odd way.
Yeah, so like the sandwich must have really been aimed downward, because you would think it would hit the upper body.
When they finally got to his address and talked to him, he said, "Oh, I don't recall doing that. I thought I just threw it at the counter." And then they looked at the video and were like, "You threw it directly at the woman."
Yeah.
And he tried to play coy about it, but I didn't put that in the thing because it really wasn't too pertinent to the story.
Right. There's a counter in between them. So if it's not hitting the upper part, you like had to get up there and be like, "Rah!"
Yeah, I think what probably happened was he wanted to like throw it in her face. Like he was kind of pulling back from really acting out. And so he was just like, you know what? I'm just going to hit you in the hip with this sandwich. And then she was like, okay, I'll just use that and press charges.
It's another time where he came up a little short.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
You're not a full-blown hitch-in-the-face criminal. You're just a petty little mid to lower body thrower, okay?
Mm-hmm, with a soft loaf of bread.
With a soft loaf of bread. Well, poor guy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally not on his side.
It will be crazy if he gets the full year in prison for... I mean, anybody with a slightly good attorney should probably plea out of that, but
I don't know. We've seen weird things happen with the punishments not fitting the crimes, and I don't know. You just never know with these.
And honestly, if you're mean to a customer service worker, I don't really care that you get too much help, really.
Totally. No, don't throw a freaking sandwich at someone.
She probably made a great sandwich.
Yeah, goddamn. Just tear it apart. So, Trevin, I also have a story.
Uh-oh. You seem excited about it. Do you have a big connection already?
I do have one. I am curious to see if you can think of anything else. And honestly, off the top of my head, I can't remember if we've ever had this specific connection before, so we'll have to talk it through.
Okay.
But as a mom who has experienced far too many recent snow days and multiple now virtual learning days from home.
Surprised that wasn't a dilemma.
I know. I've had snow days on the brain.
Mm-hmm.
This is a story from the news, so stay warm, and here we go. There's something so magical about the first snow day of each year. Snowflakes gently float down to the ground, creating a light dusting atop the firm grass. Frigid winds cancel all future plans as you nestle inside your warm home. You hold your loved ones close as you cuddle by the fireplace with hot cocoa. The world becomes quiet outside your front window. The ground eventually disappears underneath a cool blanket of snow, undisturbed by all creatures. All feels right, cozied up amid the winter weather. However, by snow day number 4, things take a slight shift. The weight of the snow has caused a few large tree branches to snap under the pressure in your backyard. The heater is struggling to toast up your once warm home, and your loved ones have all turned on you, demanding that you brave the storm for more snacks.
We're starving!
The once peaceful view from your front window has been destroyed by crooked snow angels and loud snow plows. Your animals have begun to pee indoors in protest of the frozen ground. And it's at this point that there is a 0% chance of hope in the forecast. The story I will be sharing with you all today is about how a snow day can make any petty criminal turn cold as ice. Tim woke up Friday morning on March 10th of 2023 to the sound of his mother's voice.
Morning, my big guy. Looks like it's no school for you today. It's a snow day.
Tim sat straight up and opened his bedside window. He peered out over the town of Chorley in Lancashire, England, immediately noticing the snow-covered ground.
You know what else? My little man has a sweet little girl downstairs asking for him. Oh, you're growing up so quick.
Tim's mom leaned in to kiss him, but he moved just in time, causing her to kiss his pillow instead. Mom, I'm 12. I'm no baby. And who's downstairs asking for me? Tim responded in a defensive tone.
Why don't you get dressed and come down to see for yourself?
Tim's mom snarked back, brushing off the lint from her pillow kiss. After she left, Tim rushed getting dressed and nearly fell down the stairs in anticipation of seeing his female guest. Collecting himself at the foot of the steps, Tim looked up to see her. She was wearing sparkly silver snow boots and a pink snowsuit. Her hair was brushed perfectly into a ponytail, and her freckles glistened in the light. She smiled at Tim, revealing her metal braces, and waved.
Hi, Sam. What are you doing here? Not that I don't want you here.
Tim stammered at the sight of his middle school crush standing in his doorway.
A few of us kids in the neighborhood are going to snowball fight. You in?
Sam asked with excitement in her voice.
Absolutely. And I know a few others who can join us.
Tim and Sam left his house and met up with a few other friends that were willing to sacrifice their warmth. In no time, they had assembled a pretty good crew for a snowball battle. They had Joe, who was a year older than the rest of them. Tim's mom called him a bad influence, but when it came to any type of fight,
Leave the nerds alone.
it was good to have Joe on your side. Then there was Helga. She was a towering and intimidating volleyball player with gigantic biceps. Out of best friend obligations, Tim asked Louie to join their team also. He wasn't particularly fast, graceful, or strong, but he provided great comic relief to the group. Of course, then there was Sam. Everything Sam did was perfect in Tim's eyes. Even the lisp caused by Sam's braces was endearing to him. Plus, she was nearly as competitive as he was, making her a great teammate. Tim himself was a solid asset for a snow battle. He was brave, smart, and a little mischievous. Together, they called themselves the Snowball Squad. It didn't take long for the squad to find opponents hiding behind ice-covered bushes. They took cover behind a parked vehicle and formulated a plan of attack.
Sam and Louie, you guys start building snowballs. And Joe, you keep an eye out for enemies. When you're done building, hand them over to Helga and I.
Tim stated, surprised at himself for taking on a leadership role. The snowball squad took their positions and eventually had a full stash of rounded snowbombs and had eyes on all potential adversaries.
Attack!
Tim shouted into the tense air. The team began passing snowballs to Helga, who had a hell of an arm on her. She hurled the ice balls long distance towards her foes, drilling them right in the face. Tim and Joe charged at the enemy's snow fort, knocking it over and pummeling the people inside with frosty projectiles. None of the other neighborhood kids stood a chance against them.
Retreat!
After the team of victorious preteens were done kicking some serious ass on the crystallized battlefield, they decided to take a break.
Ugh, I've worked up an appetite,
groaned Helga as she iced down her bulging muscles.
I've got $10. Want to hit up the dollar menu at McDonald's?
Tim offered politely, while also scoring some major brownie points from Sam. They walked towards the McDonald's, encouraging Louie to keep up as he clumsily slipped and fell on the snowy ground behind them. Eventually, the frosted golden arches came into view, causing the kids to run towards it. Inside, the snowball squad stuffed their faces with McDoubles, McNuggets, and other McBullshit. The fast food and indoor heating had invigorated the group as they began to recount the epic snowball fight from earlier. Helga flexed her guns. Joe imitated Louie's spill in the snow. And Tim complimented Sam's snowballs.
They were so round and firm.
They had all agreed that it was the best time and wished it didn't have to end when Joe came up with a solution.
The fun doesn't have to stop here. The way I see it, we've got a lot of customers around us that could become our target practice out in the snow.
It was at this moment that Tim remembered his mom warning him about Joe.
He's a bad influence, young man.
But if acting a little bad would give him more time with Sam, it was worth the risk.
I'm in if you guys are.
With the snowball squad back in action, they set up a new fort behind the McDonald's dumpster. Snowballs were freshly packed, stacked, and ready for attack. Joe kept watch for the perfect unsuspecting victim, while Tim hunched down beside Sam. "I've had a lot of fun with you today," he whispered softly towards his crush.
Me too, Tim.
Sam whispered back while blushing. But young love would have to wait as the rest of their team alerted them it was time. Now, now, now! Now, now, now! The 5 petite snow warriors all grabbed their frozen weapons of choice and began to throw them towards the exiting McDonald's customers.
Charge!
The customers were quickly covered in white snow dust after the ice bombs exploded on impact. The targets were hard to see until a couple of angry ones stepped out of range. The large adults dusted themselves off and turned around, revealing their police officer uniforms. On Friday, March 10th of 2023, the town of Chorley in Lancashire, England, had themselves a snow day. It was during this winter weather when local police officers and other customers visited the nearby McDonald's for some fast food and warmth. Yet, stepping outside, things would take a frigid turn. A group of unnamed youths were said to have ambushed the officers and other customers exiting the restaurant with a snowball fight. Sergeant Harrison from the Chorley and South Ribble Task Force described the attack on social media, stating,
"Whilst going about our business, youths have begun throwing snowballs towards the McDonald's, which have been very close to hitting officers and members of the public in the face. We do not consent to a snowball fight. and we will take positive action against any people who have been identified attempting to assault officers. Officers will be on duty all weekend, and behavior of this nature will not be tolerated. The snowball fight did lead to one of the unnamed kids' arrests, but absolutely no additional information was shared publicly. After the incident, a dispersal order was put in place, allowing anyone suspecting of causing antisocial behavior to be directed to leave a specified area or arrested. If you live somewhere experiencing any winter weather conditions, I encourage you all to stay inside as much as possible, like a normal person. There are plenty of ways to torment those that you live with without disturbing the public. The piercing temperatures are scary enough without going and getting yourself arrested, because there is nothing more bone-chilling than being asked to freeze when you're already standing outside in the snow.
Freeze!
I already am. Ugh.
Okay, so a kid got arrested. We don't know what he got charged with.
An unnamed kid with literally zero information. I know no ages, no names, how many kids were included in the snowball fight. I know nothing but what I've given you all. I loved creating the little friend group, but I have nothing.
That'll be fun putting the music together for that one, because that's more of like a teen sort of movie feel.
Yes.
Less dramatic and more just kind of quirky fun.
Yeah. I think there was a movie, was it in the 90s, that was called Snow Day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was kind of going off of something like that, but obviously following the crime. And it's in England, which, oh God, please don't come at me after my accent with that man. I'm a little rusty.
Yeah, we haven't done a good accent thing in a while. I think I've done a few that were Australian and just been like, we aren't even going to draw attention to that.
We're not going to go there. Yeah, I've done that as well. But I do know that one of them was arrested, and there was that very strict kind of curfew situation put out because of that arrest.
Mm-hmm.
But they kept calling them a child. I had more fun thinking it was a preteen.
Mm-hmm.
When they say child, it's just so, you could go in any direction.
Yeah, the whole time you were telling that story, I was imagining what it would be like to be sitting in a booth at McDonald's and just enjoying your burger and watching and seeing the kids posted up and just waiting, like, wonder when somebody's going to finish their meal, and then just watching somebody walk right out the exit and just get pelted with snowballs.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the best dinner in a show.
I know. It's unfortunate that I don't know if they did it on purpose, if they knew that it was police officers in that group or not, or if they were just going to do it to anyone and everyone who came out. I don't know. I'd love to know, but there was officers in that crowd and they got in trouble.
Wow.
And I don't know why only one got arrested. Maybe they were the one initiating it, or yeah, who would it be in the story? Would it be Louis? He fell behind the group. Would it be Joe, the bad influence? Would it be Tim, the main character, Sam, the crush, or Helga, the one with the hell of an arm?
Which we did decide. The whole time you were telling the story, I was thinking of Helga Pataki from Hey Arnold.
Yes.
But then I was thinking there was like a stronger version, and then we had to pause and look it up, and there was that episode of Hey Arnold where Big Patty.
Yes.
Big Patty was her bully, who was like a larger version of Helga that had the same big unibrow.
Yes. That is how we envision Helga in this story. That is the perfect description. Connections. Fast food restaurants.
Technically, I did say the McSpoon. I brought it up in the beginning, so there is a McDonald's connection.
Whoa, I forgot all about that part. Yes, that is a really, really specific one. But yeah, I don't know. Have we done 2 fast food stories in one? I feel like maybe we have.
I feel like it's very possible.
It's possible because, I mean, we've done so many where we did the gator being thrown in the Wendy's drive-thru.
We've done multiple Subways. Because the Subway where the guy fell out of the ceiling.
Oh, that was in Subway.
Because he was hiding in a Subway at the end.
Okay. And then we've done some McDonald's where the woman was mad that they weren't serving, breakfast and blah, 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 blah. But both of them clearly this week did take place in a fast food chain.
And it's also projectile, and it's like soft things. So like soft assault.
Soft launches.
Yeah, like soft, let's say getting hit with a bread and then getting hit with snowballs.
Snow, which apparently, according to my igloo fact, it's 95% air. So, like, let's chill out a bit, guys. Unless there's ice in those snowballs, like solid, hard ice, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, but I mean, a little piece in the explosion gets underneath your t-shirt and you get a little chill later.
Your nips start to pop out, and
Yeah.
someone's just got to go to jail.
Yeah, that's not very fair. Nobody consented to a snowball fight and the discomfort. I love that wording too. The cops are like, I did not consent to a snowball fight.
I will not stand for this. But yeah, those are really good connections this week, actually. I love it, love it, love it.
I agree. I almost thought you were going for like the secret cop twist again from last week.
Oh, I know. It did kind of seem like that, yeah. But, you know, I didn't want it to be like, let's try and hit these coppers, you know,
Yeah.
these kids. So I was like, how else do I do it?
Yeah, very anti-cop children or something.
Exactly. Well, I hope that everyone is having the very best week. And just remember, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed to throw some big cold bowls.
Bye.
See ya.
I hope all of you out there listening are bundled up, all cozied next to the fire. If you're not, thanks for listening anyway.
And are you an artsy film nerd like me? Follow us on social media. Let's have a little conversation. Live Laugh Larceny on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or Threads.
Have you ever been attacked with a sub sandwich? If you have, let us know. We love a good food crime. livelaughlarceny@gmail.com.
And give us the same amount of stars I would give Bosu balls for the pain index. All of them. Every single star I can do. But please rate our podcast at Good Pods, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you rate your podcasts.
Ah, God, I love sweet tea.
Sweet, sweet tea.
Sweet tea makes me happy.
Oh, it's cute.
Sweet tea makes me grin. Sweet tea makes life so much better again.
There it is.